Good morning to all. As you requested last week, even one person pro requested, this week onwards we are decided to start the core subject. Already bilateral started. In this, one of the core subject is this history part. So, for UPSC, history part is the core, is very core. We tried our level best to take it in offline, but due to this, we forced. Hereafter, we no need to wait for that, because if you wait, then it would be the problem in later stage, because you will be burdened to study of the core subject in later part. It's the right time, right, to open the core topic. So in this history part, as you people aware of the history, whether it is UPSC or TNPSC or KPSC or Rajasthan Public Service Commission or Delhi Public Service Commission, whatever it is, it's an essential part. Only thing, from 6th standard onwards, right, from 6th standard onwards, history part is there up to 10th, 11th, 12th also. If you are a history student, major subject, then you have to study. So history is there everywhere, keep it in mind, and nothing new to discuss with you. That's why it's one of the greatest advantage of the history is nothing new. If I said Ashoka, you knew. I'm not going to discuss any philosophy or not any theories as mentioned in any subject. If I said Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, you knew something. At least you heard the voice. You heard, right? That information. That's what why I'm saying is one of the greatest advantages that one. If I say Samudragupta, you know. Even if I said Shah Jahan, you know something. Right? So that's why you knew it. What we are going to study is some orderly manner, some fashioned manner we are going to study, that too for clearing the UPSC exams. That we are damn sure. So we follow what are all the things to be studied today onwards. Straight away you are entering. I am not going to discuss ABCD again, UPSC, so and so, as like that as a current affairs session. Straight away, today itself, a unit will be over. Tomorrow, a unit. Okay, daily at least we try to complete a unit. So here onwards, you are completely packed up to the studies. 2.5 hour class means if you want to study the 2.5 hour classroom studies in the notebook or textbook, it will take 5 hours. So today onwards, or already you are packed up. Earlier you studied newspaper, hereafter history, bilateral, it would run some other subject, 2 to 3 subject would run simultaneously. Yes, in this I start this subject history part. So even why I open this, if you know apartheid, something you don't know, you know who is that fellow, you know who is this, you know who is this. So that's why nothing new. And that's the biggest issues also, problem. What is the thing? You already knew it, right? That's why you are saturated and history are boring. History, it's a tough. Many are thinking that history is a tough. Do you know when a subject would be considered as a tough means when you know very well of the subject knowledge, then only you could weight plus and minus. Some subjects are there you would know nothing, so you are considering that it's very easy. When you are entering into the subject, when you started to study, then only you come to know which is negative, which is positive. Actually, history, why is negative, you know, right? Why negative, you know, you studied. So if you know negative, easy to convert into positive. Otherwise, if you don't know negative, first you have to identify what is negative. Then you have to change it into positive. Two works you have to do. So one great advantage, you know all the information, ABCD. Another thing, since you know ABCD, it is you consider as saturated, one thing. And the second important thing, right? Second important thing is this, you would feel it, right? The subject is tough. No, it's not like this. And it seems to be this much big. History seems to be this much big. We are going to discuss in a very narrow path. What to study? Open the syllabus. That's all. We are not discussing outside anything. Everything revolve around the syllabus. Okay, because for that itself we don't have sufficient times. Within that itself we have to complete the portion of this. So what is the syllabus? If you see that, this is what. If you see that, here is the general studies one. That too here is the mains part. Sir, we are preparing for the prelims. Yes, prelims come mains. Always keep it in mind. Syllabus is very important because history seems to be like this. But first is go through the syllabus. In the first day of my current affairs class itself, I mentioned about that. Okay. So here, if you see history part, since because of small network issues, I'll again discuss this. Okay. So this history part, if you go through this, nothing is new. That's why I said, if I said Akbar, if I said Samudragupta or Chandragupta, even if I said Lithic age, even it's a toughest chapter. It seems to be the toughest chapter. Even if I say Lithic age, okay, you knew something. That's the biggest positive aspect of the history. You know everything. You know something in everything. Okay, it's unlike other subject. No theories, nothing is there. Nothing seems to be new. Okay, if I said the East India Company, British came, Battle of Plassey, you knew it. But with that basic, some storytelling. One step ahead that I am going to discuss. We are going to hear, right? Even if you know some other information, please share it. You normally in that classroom, right? Even some person would have been from West Bengal. He know very well about the Battle of Plassey or Battle of Buxars, right? Or Mir Qasim. He would share something about in the classroom so that all the 300 students may know of extra information. That's one important thing, right? So at the same time, if you see the history, you would consider that always it's like so many things are there you have to study. When do you know so many things are there? When do you know, right? These things of negative things, right? It's very easy. That's why I said, if you know what is your problem, you could easily convert into positive. If you don't know what is the problem, first you have to identify the problem, negative, then you have to convert into positive. Twice the work you have to put it. Right? So this is the first issue regarding history. So it's information, everything you know first. Second thing is, many are thinking history are very vast. Seems to be that. No, what we are going to discuss just to confine to that. Right. For example, we would study about Gandhi. But for that, I am not going to discuss of the entire life of Gandhi. Gandhiji's birth, October 2, and till his death, right, that Jan 13, 1948, inch by inch we have to study. No, not more than 45 to 50 page about Gandhiji. No, sir, I want to know everything about the Gandhi. Go and do PhD in history. That's not necessarily to come and study for UPSC. Understood? How you have to study, that is the matter in the history. It seems to be ocean, but we are traveling in a very narrow stream. How do we know what streams are? This is what this syllabus, right? If you see, rather than prelims syllabus, I open the main syllabus. Why? If you see the prelims syllabus, nothing. History, what they mentioned in history of India from ancient to modern, including culture. Over. Oh, for that, we are going to take 40 plus classes. Just imagine, just 2 lines in the prelims history syllabus is explained, but mains history syllabus is explained at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 lines it has been discussed. Prelims history is discussed just 2 lines. That's why you can't see elaboration in prelims, but you can see elaboration in mains. So if you see in the mains, right, you have to study Indian culture. Indian culture means both ancient and medieval, along with culture part. Though they didn't mention about ancient medieval, here itself ancient medieval is there. because here itself is there. Indian history will cover all the aspect from ancient to modern times. So without knowing Ashoka, without knowing Samudragupta, without knowing Alauddin Khilji, it's difficult to study what were the contribution of these people. So along with that, Indian culture. Second thing, if you see modern India, by heart it, first syllabus, okay? Modern India. Third is freedom struggle. So you see that this both would come under broad aspect of modern India. Both are part and parcel of the modern India. So if you see that weightage, more weightage for mains, at the same time more weightage for prelims also. If I completed today, I'm going to discuss modern India. Okay. So why I'm discussing modern India at first means everywhere we will discuss modern India at first. That too you have to start with modern, because major topic, if you completed within a month of modern India, remaining is damn easy. For you see that for mains major, for prelims also, out of 100 question, 15 question if it is from history, means minimum 7 question from modern India. 50 plus 50% and above in history is from modern India. So you can trust and study. History, especially modern India, would never leave you. Okay. So ancient, medieval is explained here. Modern India is explained in two parts. And next is post-independence India. Normally this is purely for mains perspective. But recently, 2018-19 onwards, questions are being asked even in preliminary also. Actually, first time a post-independent question, 3 question has been asked in 2018. 2018, 3 question. You note it down, okay? This post-independent question will be clubbed with the polity. So if you want to know polity, if you want to know post-independent, actually polity and post-independence are right, mutual. If you know this, it's very easy. I will discuss this issue. And very independent topic is world history. This is exclusively for mains alone. Till now, because if you see prelims topic, Indian history alone is mentioned in prelims history. Not at all mention of the world history. Understood? So this is what the topic. So ancient, medieval India, modern India, freedom struggle, post-independence, history of the world. Okay. So here, this is what the topics is there. Any doubts? Yes. So with this, I open the topic, this Indian history, that is history, I open it. Before that, one requirement, always keep a separate notebook. One. Second thing, while writing, leave some gap. Don't show your conjuice here. Always have a separate notebook. Okay, I will give information, whatever consider important fact, I will give it. Go through that alone. That's enough. So you know the syllabus. With that, open the topic history. History. Okay. So history is are of two. Write it first. Indian history and world history. Write it. And again split it into 3. Here also split it into 3. Do it. You go on to write. Whenever I say go on to write it. Ancient, medieval, modern. Here also world history also. Ancient history, medieval world history and modern world history. Modern world history. Modern world history. Okay. So you have to study Indian history, you have to study world history. Okay. We already discussed you have to study ancient, medieval, modern. I mentioned. Along with that, here PIC, post-independent consolidation part is there. You should know we have to study these things, right? Along with that ancient and medieval, you have to study art and culture. First, what we have to study? Thoroughly study that, then you study. Okay. So with this, we are very clear. Indian history wise, top to bottom, you have to study. There's no compromise about it. Now you come to the world history. World history wise, what topics to be studied? Whether ancient world history? No. Keep in mind. This is what many students are committing mistake. Medieval world history? No. Only thing modern world history. So here you have to study everything, but in world history wise, only modern world history. Understood? So this is what you have to study, right? Yes. So first thing is history. I mentioned two kind, history and of India and history of the world, right? Next thing, what is history, sir? Why, when, where, how, you should know. What is history? Is simple. What is history? Simple definition is study of past. Yes, that's all people knew. What the thing? Study of past in as such? No. Study of past in what manner mean? In a orderly fashion or chronological, write it. So what is history is study of past in orderly manner. Underline the word. Otherwise chronology. Chronology. That's a timeline. So keep it in mind. Always study based on the timeline. What happened after this year, after this, after this, after this, after this. Then only you will have a paka idea. So what to study, I mentioned. Now I just opened what is history, I mentioned it. Right? Study of anything in the past. Okay, now listen. How you have to study of the past. 1 minute. Yes. So this is what the concept of the history. What is history you mentioned? Okay. Now listen. This is a timeline. Okay. Now we are here, 2020. Right? What is the origin of the history? What is the date? That's important. Right? For example, where the human is living is land or water body or both, whichever whatever the comfort of the human being, he is there. Yes, listen. For the life of the human being, what is essential is the land. That's a base. If you want to know history of the human, you should know history of the geography. I mean, geography also contains the history. Yes, listen. Many would know that what is the origin of the history means. Immediately would say lithic age, Paleolithic, Mesolithic. Okay, good. Right. These are all like this. So keep it in mind. Where is the origin of the history means lithic age. Lithic age are called stone age. I never mentioned here. I put it here. Why I put it here is if you see the origin of the human being, right, it seems to be very, very new to this world. When the origin of the human being, I keep it around 5 lakh BC, otherwise around 7 lakh BC. Note it down, like put this timeline and write it. Okay, 5 lakh BC or 7 lakh BC. Okay, Before that, if you see in this earth, so many other animals were already born. We people are brand new when compared to starting of other animals. Okay, sir. When other animals, when the earth, what was the life of the earth, urge of the earth, origin of the earth means it dates back to like this. If I wanted to extend the line, it has to go for kilometers. Because if you see the birth of the earth, birth means here origin of the earth means, right, its age is 4 billion years ago. Note it down. So 4 years billion years ago, origin of the earth. Right? After that, so many animals started to origin. It's a pure biology. Single cell animal, amoeba, paramecium. Have you come across it? After that, reptiles, amphibians, and in that only, if you see origin of that human, that is the history here I mentioned with origin of the human was very brand new, very late actually. So which is very old? Earth geography is very old, 4.5 billion years ago. So many other animals were started. In that, the origin of the human, that is that modern human being, was very late. Right? So either 7 lakh BC, otherwise 5 lakh BC. We are not going to, in geography, these things will be taken. In history, what the things, we are not going to discuss about this. This alone I am going to discuss. Okay, for us, this portion. What is our portion? 7 lakh BC, right? Otherwise 5 lakh BC. Note it down to 2020. 2020, even today also, June, right? 17, 2020. Till that, the period is history. Right? Whenever I use the word history means study of. Why not? Geography also has history. Mathematics also has history. Today you may have mathematics formula will be very complex. But if you study mathematics, who started mathematics as a subject? What is the origin of mathematics? That itself is history. Chemistry today you may have so many complex formulas. C, H, O, it will be like this. But if you study who started chemistry as a subject, am I right? The table, metal, understood? So all the subject, all the people has the history. Even you also has a history. What is your starting point of history? What is your starting point? Is date of birth. Your history starts when you are born. DOB is the starting point. That is your history. What is the starting point of this marker? When it is manufactured till the last minute of its life, till it functions. So likewise, everything has a history. Here I just confine to the human part. Okay, 7 lakh BC to 2030. Okay, sir. In this, right? So this is what the whole length. Keep it in mind. In that only ancient, medieval, modern, post-independence, outside India, world history we are going to discuss. Right. It's the first. Second thing is, listen, who started the history? So what is history? I discussed. What is the timeline? I discussed. I never discussed Indian history. Keep it in mind. I am discussing common. What is history? Okay. Who started history as a separate subject? Write it. Who started and when it was started as a separate subject? Separate subject. Take it? Yes. Who is the father of history? If you know, or who started history as a separate subject, or who is decenter, who is the father of history? Type it. If you have idea, please type it. Any answer? Yes. Right. Who is the father of the history is Herodotus. Note it down. Herodotus, a Greek philosopher. Note it down. Herodotus, a Greek philosopher, around 6th and 5th century BC. Around 6th and 5th century BC. So he is the man who made history as a separate subject. Actually, before that, there is no separate subject, history as such. For example, if I was there earlier, I may study geography. 1 month, I would complete geography because 2 books. I would study history just in 2 months. I would study even medicine. I would become doctor. Just imagine. Now only if you see history, this much of chapters, this much of books, and BA history, MA history, PhD, separate thing. Once upon a time, many didn't have separate subject. That's why if you see Aristotle, his right qualification, Socrates qualification. If you see that Aristotle, geographer, historian, scientist, in between doctor. Okay, just wait. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, please wait it. Yes. So this is what the history we are actually going to discuss of this, and who is the father of history is Herodotus. Keep it in mind. If you are saying that I am studying history, definitely you should know of this, right? So what is history? Who is father of history? What is the timeline? I mentioned of this, right? Okay. Next thing, origin of this history. History means modern human being. Okay. Next, open the topic origin. Where was the origin of the modern human being? It is accepted by the historians that, listen, modern human being was originated throughout the world independently, that too all over the world. Here also modern human being originated. Here also modern human being originated. Right? But if you see that, what is the earliest? In India also modern human being originated. But my question is, where was the earliest origin? Is, listen, keep it in mind here. Here is the earliest origin of the human being. Where? This is called in Africa, right? In Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, note it down. Kenya, Tanzania. Actually, if you see, this area is called Rift Valley. In geography, you will be discussed at length and breadth of the Rift Valley, right? In African Rift Valley, in and around Rift Valley only, the modern human being was originated. Note it down. Earliest in India also originated, but somewhat late. That's after Africa. That's why, if you common knowledge, if you have the common idea about origin, where was the earliest origin means Africa. Earliest origin. When? Note it down. Around 7 lakh BC or around 8 lakh BC. 7 lakh BC or around 8 lakh BC. Okay, much later, here also human being originated independently, here also originated, and elsewhere in the world. Okay, so what is history? Where was it originated? Okay, how human being originated? Yes, listen. What is the difference between man and animal? Is important. Listen, how we are originated is, this is very, very important. Once upon a time, as of now, we are walking by means of 2 legs. Okay, so here, so this is what this, right? First thing we discuss, what is history. Second thing, what is the timeline of the history? 7 lakh or 5 lakh, right? BC to 2020. That's the second. And third thing is, who is the father of the history? We mentioned Herodotus, the father of the history. We mentioned of this. And the fourth thing is this one. Just now I opened it, right? This is not at all. This is a basic thing, right? I had to much enter into that. This will be helpful while studying ancient part. You should have the broad idea of this. Now I come to this Rift Valley. Okay, here. After that, gradually started to rise. Independently originated. So this you by heart it. Earliest origin Rift Valley, which place and what is your normally. Okay. How human being originated, sir? And what is the difference between human and animal? This is very, very important. Right, listen, I am here. Right, not only me, many people able to walk by means of two legs. Actually, keep it in mind. Here also, once upon a time, this also we used once upon a time as a leg. That's why we commonly use the word limbs. How many limbs are there for human being? 4. Here is the 2, here is the 2. Once upon a time, we were also started to walk and run like this. This is called quadrupedal. Quadrupedal, na, you know very well of this. Quadra, na, 4. It's like a 4-wheel drive. What happened is, we also started to move like this. Such a situation, such a person was called ape. Once upon a time, ape. Okay, we were like ape. Even we did have the tail also. In course of time, what happened is, listen, keep it in mind. We were like this. In course of time, our backbone started to erect. And we could know how to walk by means of 2 limbs. Keep it in mind. This is also once upon a time leg. Now we are using it as a hand. But once upon a time, this is also leg. Line is using even the front limb is also for walking, not for other activities. So we were once upon a time like this. Later our backbone became erected. Such a person was called Homo erectus. Note it down. Homo erectus. So erected now our backbone was like this. Later become like this. I am here. Okay. Later what happened is, from the Homo erectus, gradually what happened is we started to get wise man, knowledgeable man. We got knowledge that is called Homo sapien. Write it. Homo sapien. And present day, I am here, you are here, there. Right. What is the name of our biological name is Homo sapien, and we are one step ahead. Homo sapien sapien. So here Saranamurthy said, what is my biological name means Homo sapien sapien. We are all Homo sapien sapien. Whenever you come across a sapien, na, wise man, knowledgeable man. Understood? This is what evolution. Such evolution was started around 7 lakh BC in the world. India, when we will discuss. Okay. So ape to Homo erectus to Homo sapiens to Homo sapiens sapien. In between gap, you might have come across Neanderthal. Have you come across it? Right. So note it down. Any of the margin. Keep it in mind, please. Any of the margin, slight gap, you leave it. It will be helpful to add some other points. Till you are entering into service, this should be your notes for history. Don't change it. Here itself, I will give so many information. If you want to add some other information, you add it here itself, in the class notes itself. This is what evolution. Right? My homework to you is Neanderthal man. Who is Neanderthal man? Any of the margin, you write it, you try to understand. It will be interesting. Right? If you see a movie called English movie Night at a Museum, have you seen? I think even part 1, part 2 also came. If you see the part 1, in that Neanderthal man would come. Some of the man with the full of hairs would come and they would do like this. And by means of the small flake, they try to make a fire. And the hero would try to interact with the Neanderthal man. Understood? Yes. So this is history. Such a history, Indian history, world history I mentioned. With this history part commonly over, now I just confine to Indian history. Open the topic. Indian history. Yes. What is the starting point of Indian history? What is the end point of the Indian history? Is always, if you write history mean Indian history or portion, you have to be like this. You have to write the topic and starting year, end year. Okay. What is the end year of Indian history is 2020. Today is also history. Keep it in mind. But whether I am going to discuss today, no, that is a current affairs session. So keep it in mind. For history class, up to which we are going to discuss is 1947. That is August 15, 1947. So clear cut, you have an idea. Okay, till 2020 is always there, but I am going to discuss up to, we are going to discuss for the history for UPSC and other. What is the starting point is around 5 lakh BC. Note it down. So 5 lakh BC to 1947 AD. 1947 AD. World history wise 8 lakh BC or 7 lakh BC I told. That is world history wise. Africa wise origin. India wise somewhat late. Origin of the human being is 5 lakh BC. And we are going to discuss 1947. Okay. 1947 is modern India. But in your syllabus, so please note it down. These are all very, very important. Okay. PIC is there. But we have to study for PIC. For that, you put it. This I will discuss up to 1996. Note it down. So, in the name of Indian history, what is the total topic we are going to study? 5 lakh BC to 1947, 47 to 1996. If you study up to 1947 modern India, up to 1996, that is post-independence and consolidation. We will discuss the PIC part later. Okay. Yes. This you split it into 3. Split it ancient, medieval and modern. Go on to write ancient, medieval and modern. Okay, first history, next India history. In that Indian history, we divided into the 3 parts, and even I divide into PIC part also. Write it PIC. Here PIC means post-independence and consolidation. Here also you write PIC part. Okay, so one by one we will discuss. Right. What is the post-independence part here? So I am writing here, since no gap at all, I am writing here PIC part. What is the starting year? What is the end year? Here I mentioned end year is 1996. Note it down. End year is 1996. Okay. Even today also post-independence. 2020 is also post-independence. I am not going to discuss up to 2020. That is current affairs portion. So here history part I will discuss. Okay. What is the starting period is 1947. Note it down. Simple. Okay. PIC, yeah. Between which 2 year I have to study? 1947 to 1986. Over. Right. Leave the book. That's all. I'm very happy. Define the syllabus is the first thing. Right? Now, I come to the modern India. Now, what is the year for studying modern India? You know the end year. What is the end year is 1947. August 15, 1947, India got independence. You know it. Then what is the starting point of modern India? Write it. Type it. Okay. 1857. Okay, good. Some people starting. 1600 AD. Super. Then. Exactly. Good. That's why I said in the initial of the class, you know something about history. 1847, correct. Some you may start modern India from 1847. Right, some may start from 1600. If I said why 1600, you would say English East India Company was started. Why 1847? That revolt of 1847 took place. Okay, various years, you know it. That's why I'm saying it. Actually, like history is well-known subject. Only thing is, you know what is the negative in the history. Easier you could translate, make it into, convert into positive. Understood? Many students would say, history I don't like. Do you know when you don't like mean? If you know a subject very well, then only you don't like. If you don't know a subject, you will like it. For example, if a girl is there, right, definitely they would have a brother, right? Whether otherwise a bro would be there, And if you ask, how about your elder bro or how about your younger sister? No, no, that boy or that girl always would disturb me. Why? Negative, because both lived in the same house for 20 plus year, 21 year, But if I ask the boy, what about the next house girl? She is very beautiful. She is very good. Because he would meet the girl 10 minutes. She is very beautiful. 10 minutes, the girl would, right, outward appearance seems to be good. Understood? So this is what I'm saying. Even in relationship also, if you want to know the negatives of the relationship, you should thoroughly interact with them. Then only you know the relationship. Likewise, in the case of history. That's all. Yourself answered. But have anyone answered? Right. Some other 1707. Yes. Even some people answered 1707 also. Listen. Some answer 1600. Correct. This is also correct. Some answer 1847. Correct. Some answer 1707. This is also correct. Then this boy would study from 1600 for modern India. This girl would study 757 also correct. So each people would study modern India different era. Then UPSC would take different questions for because for him modern India is different. For him modern India is different. No, what is that? Starting is you write it 1707. Okay, you should know why 1707. It's auspicious year for me. Otherwise, I like that number, sir. That's why I kept it. Why 1947? I like that number, sir. Why 1996? I seems that randomly chosen number. No, reasons are there. So you should know the reason. Why 1947? Independence. Right. My question is why 1996? I kept it. Type it. And why 1707? Type it. You type it. Why 1996? If you answered, you are very good actually. What's answer? Why 1707? Super. Correct. Exactly. Exactly. Super. Super. Exactly. That's all, yeah, Many people answered it actually. 1707. Why 1707? It's the end of medieval and starting of modern India. You write it, right. Death of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb died near 1707 itself, you write it. Death of Aurangzeb is considered end of medieval and starting of modern India. Super. Why 1996? One some people mentioned of economic reform. Excellent. Economic reform has been taken 1996, end of Narasimha Rao government. Because UPSC is being asking question up to 1996. End of Narasimha Rao government. Narasimha Rao ruled 1991 to 1996. So up to that I kept it. 1947 So you should keep way up to this. You should not study in book. It is there, so I am studying. No, wrong. Then you are not a wise man. Next you come to medieval. Yourself, right? What is the starting? End is 1707. Because end, it's a starting of modern. Okay, now again I am putting the question. What is the starting period of medieval India? Type it. Type it, type it. What is the starting period of medieval India? End period I mentioned 1707. What is the starting period here? What would come in this box? so many answers I got it actually. Right? Excellent. So that's why I'm saying, yeah, only thing, history part is very easy actually. It seems to be tough. It's very easy. Yourself answered. Some people 750, some people Mughal Empire 1526. Some mentioned Delhi Sultanate. Whatever, medieval you knew it. But what is the starting period? Is some people mentioned of this 750 AD. Write it around 750 AD. Write it within the box. Exact. Exact. GV Ram. Excellent. What you mentioned is excellent answer. Excellent. Actually, what he mentioned seems to be right. Right? What's the thing is the end of the Roman Empire. Exact thing. You study both world history, ancient world history as well as ancient India. Exactly the great world that is the Roman Empire, Constantinople, when right a Roman Empire started to disintegrate, that is considered as the end of ancient and starting of medieval. In India, around 750. Why 750 mean? In India also a great empire started to decline. Whose empire? Write it. End of Harsha. Write it. Harsha Empire. Simply you write it after Harsha Empire. So after Harsha Empire, complete disintegration. First 1.5 hour study today is important. In that I will completely discuss of the history. Understood? That's all. And last you come to ancient India. Yourself, right? Starting year, end year. Very easy. What is the end year? 750 AD. I have already given. What is the starting year? I have already given. Correct? What is the starting year? 5 lakh BC. So 5 lakh BC to 750 AD. Simple. Study likewise. Okay, why 750 AD? I said that after Harsha, the great North Indian ruler Harshavardhan died. After that, his empire was started to disintegrate. That is considered as the end of ancient. Okay, why 5 lakh BC? Is near the 5 lakh BC, you write origin of human being in India. Origin of human being in India, note it down. How origin of human being in India? The same thing. Ape to Homo erectus, Homo erectus to Homo sapien, Homo sapiens to Homo sapiens sapien. Earlier we studied in Africa, earliest one, here earliest in India. So clear what you are going to study. Put it, structure. First history, next Indian history. We divide the Indian history like this. Understood? Yes. That's all. About the Indian history wise. Okay. This is classical division. But as a UPSC aspirant, you should know another division. Next you write. Another division of Indian history. Another division of Indian history. Division of Indian history. Yes. What is another division of the Indian history, sir? Again, right, we are going to discuss of the another division. This is also UPSC aspirant. As definitely you should know of this. Huh? Wait. So 5 minutes, just because of network issues. Just wait. Another classification as a UPSC aspirant definitely you should know. So again you split it into three. What is another classification? This is very important. So whenever you split, you do like this. One is prehistory. Another is the proto-history. Another is historical period or proper history. Note it down. So why such a classification? Even in history as well as history optional, this is very, very important chapter. Even sometimes they would not ask some other, rather than they would simply ask this proto-history. What do you know of the proto-history? What do you know of the prehistory? Okay, why this classification? For that, you should know. I am taking you to next and I come back to this, okay? For studying anything, what is important is source. Am I right? For studying anything, sources are important, or we call it as evidence. These are all you have to write it in margin. For that, I ask you to put margin. Yes, sources are important. If you don't have source, if you don't have evidence, we would not consider it as a history. Do you know? If you want to know history, definitely you should know source. Historian should get the source, or archaeological survey of India is there. They should collect the source. They would collect the source and they would go through the source. Then what they understood, they would write it. Listen, they would write it and they would submit it as a thesis. If thesis was accepted by majority of the historian, then it would become the subject matter. Then only it is mentioned in NCERT book and standard textbook. For example, Ashoka converted into Buddhism. After Kalinga War, Ashoka converted into Buddhism. Then he started to spread Buddhist ideas in Sri Lanka and other countries. How did you come to know? In Orissa, in Udayagiri Hills, in Orissa, there is a place called Hathigumba. A place called Hathigumba, right? In Udayagiri, near Bhubaneswar, it is there. Udayagiri Hills. In that inscription only, we got such a news. In a small rock, this has been written. We translated the language, accepted, then it's source. So here study. Understood? How do you know Akbar's activity? Who wrote Akbar's history? Chronicler, court historian is Abul Fasl. Akbarnama is there. Aini Akbari is there. From that only I think continuing. Likewise, sources are very important. So very, very important is source. Actually, this is the first unit of ancient India. Though I am not going to discuss of the ancient India, a brief idea. Okay. What are all the various sources? So many sources are there. Actually, this itself is a 10-mark question. Today itself, I will discuss 3 10-mark questions and 1 or 2 expected prelims questions. Daily, we will discuss 1 or 2 10-mark questions and some few expected prelims questions. Okay. What are all the sources? Write it. Literary source. Note it. The foremost sources are called literary source. Such a literary sources are 2 kinds. Note it. So major source is literary source. Such a literary sources are 2 kinds. One is manuscripts. These are all keyword, please. Another is inscription. One is the manuscripts, another is inscription. Okay. What is the difference between manuscript and inscription? Both were written down. What is manuscript? What is inscription? Is if that writings were done on soft base, soft material. Note it down. Writings were done on soft material, then it is called manuscript. What are all the soft material in those times? You write it. Leaves, bark, palm tree, especially Tirukural, almost all that earliest works were written on palm tree. They would take the palmyra tree and they would dry it, and they would, by using the needle, they would try to write it and put the hole on either part and would thread it, tighten it, and would keep it. Okay, easily perishable material. Anything written on perishable material, manuscript. Inscription is hard material. Hard material, then inscription. What are all the hard material? It may be rock. Note it down. It may be rock, or it may be copper, or it may be iron. So either stone or metal. So either stone or metal, then it's called, both are collectively called literary sources. Actually, this sources is very important. Okay. Next is coin. Note it down. What is the name of study of coin? Write it. Type it. Type it. What is the name of study of coins? Correct. Numismatics. Am I right? Study of coins are called numismatics. Exactly. This itself is the question. 2018 GS first 10 mark question in mains is this. What is the thing is Gupta's numismatic source, coins. That is the question. If you don't know what is numismatics, you can't answer the first question. That to first day, first question is flap. Ho gaya. Then what about your psychological? Just imagine. Right, why I'm saying is, if you come back to this, in this GS first day, if you are going to attend the GS part, it's very interesting how significance of the history is. From here you would come to know. Yeah, if you see the syllabus, first part of the syllabus, GS is the history. If you see here, first is history, next is social issues, then geo part is there, right? If you see, first is history, right? 250 marks, this GS paper. 250 marks. Out of 250 marks, first 100 marks or 890 marks is exclusively history. That too with the Indian culture. From that only Gupta numismatics. So just imagine, if you don't study history, over first paper you can't touch it. Why Gupta history? Because of Indian culture. Then it's very easy. What would be the second, third question? Indian history. What would be the fourth, fifth question? Post-independent. What would be the seventh, eighth question? History of world. Easy. That's why I ask you to go through the syllabus. Based on that only question will be asked. Okay. So here I come back to this. So the second source I mentioned of this, that is numismatics. Numismatics means study of coins. Right. Next, third source. What is the third important source? Is monuments. Note it down. Monuments. What are all the monuments? It may be temple or simply building. Building. Simply you write it. A building may be any kind. It may be a temple, or it may be a mosque, it may be a palace, or it may be a compound wall. It may be a house. Monuments. Monuments are standing monument. Taj Mahal, big temple. Okay. Monuments. Next, tools. Tools. Actually, tools are very, very important. This is tool. Correct? This is tool. And this is also tool. This is also a tool. It is a tool to store water. This is a tool to write it. Am I right? And why not? My iPad is there. This is also a tool. This is a tool for communication purpose. My watch. This is also a tool. So what is tool? Is anything which is helpful for the human activity, that is the tool. Okay. So that's why so many sources are here. So these are all the sources, various sources. But among that, which sources are very important is, so among this literary sources are important. Note it down. Based on the literary sources only, I split it into three parts: prehistory, proto-history, historical period. So here, why such a classification is, in this here write it, based on availability of literary sources or importance of literary sources. Note it down. Now you come back to main and write it. Taken? Yes. Now you are going to, I am going to discuss why it's called prehistory, why it's called proto, why it's called proper. Now you write it under prehistory. Now you come back to prehistory. First point, why it is called prehistory mean non-availability of literary sources. So in prehistory we don't have literary sources, write it. So till the date, till June 17, 2020, historian and archaeologist yet to get any literary sources. Other sources may be there, but I am saying confining to literary sources. So non-availability of literary sources. That's why till the date they are considering us illiterate people. Write it. Under prehistory you are right, illiterate people. Got it? So they are considered as illiterate people. Okay. Though we don't have literary sources, we study their history. How do we study their history? That is important. We don't have literary sources, but we do have other sources because so many sources are there. Among that, right here, next point you write, but still we study their history. Note it down. Under prehistory, still we study their history by using the tools. By using the tools, because these people use the tools variety. In variety, they used it. By using the tools, we study their history. Okay, what kind of tools they used? Stone tools. Note it down. Stone tools. Understood? That's why what is the another name of the prehistory is called Stone Age. Simple. Stone Age. Got it? Okay. So stone tools, that's why it's called Stone Age. What is the Greek word of the stone is lithic. Nitrate. That's why this age is also called lithic age. So why it's called stone age? Their only source from where we got knowledge is tool, stone tool. That's why it's called Stone Age. Okay. What is the Greek name of the stone is lithic. That's why this age is called lithic age. I can use the word Stone Age, I can use the word lithic age, and I can use the word prehistory. Got it? Yes. Now you come to proto-history. What is the proto? Proto means model. Prototype. Have you come across prototype reactor? Likewise, model. Why it's called proto-history means it's like a history but not history. Actually, this is the plain explanation of proto-history. It's like a history but not history. I couldn't understand, sir. Please explain. Yes, I'll explain of this. Here, non-availability of source. Now you come to here. You write it proto-history. Why it's called proto-history? Proto-history means like history but not history. Okay. Why it's called proto-history means availability of literary sources. Note it down. Availability of the literary sources, but we couldn't understand it. Okay, that they use the word decipher. Write it. Couldn't understand is simply called decipher. We had to decipher it. Okay, so historian archaeologists excavated it, but what is the problem? What they wrote till the date, whether it's a Tamil, whether it's a Sanskrit, whether it's a Russian language, whether it is a Latin language, till the date I don't know. For example, if I write like this, right? If you know Hindi, definitely you could change, right? Translate it into Tamil like this, otherwise in English like this, otherwise in Malayalam, whatever. But that people write like this. Even it's not Chinese. Even Chinese people don't know what they have written. So we have such a written source, but useless. Now the translation work is being done. Attempt is made to translate it, but we had to get it. Okay. That's why we have source, but we couldn't understand from the source. That's why it's called proto-history. What is the best unit of the proto-history? Note it down. Indus Valley Civilization. Best example is Indus Valley Civilization. Or also called Harappan Civilization. Either Indus Valley Civilization or also called Harappan Civilization. Got it? And next you come to the proper history. Yourself write what is the proper history. First write it, then type it. Okay. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Good answer. Very good. Exactly. 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 So, yes. Yes. So many answered. It's very good. So what is that proper history yourself, right? Availability of literary sources, write it. Availability of the literary sources, that is understandable. That's the difference between proto and proper history. Availability of literary sources, that is understandable. Second, not understandable mean translatable also. It can be translated. So I know language, I could easily translate it to any other language, then it's called the proper history. What is the starting period or what is that earliest language in India? And this itself is the biggest question. What are the earliest language? Yes, yes. Many answered. Very good. Actually, what is what are the earliest language? Sanskrit, Tamil, Prakrit. Have you come across Prakrit? Pali, yes. So these are all earliest languages. These three, four are there, right? This is very earliest language of this, right? Since we are studying in all India perspective, in that what is the starting period of the Vedic age? That is historical is Vedic age. You write it. So proper history start with Vedic age or the Aryans, the age of the Aryan, age of the Aryans. What is the age? 1500 BC onwards. You write like this onwards. To till the date. That's why onwards means till the date also. Understood? So with this two classification, I discussed one 10 mark question. Keep it in mind. What are all the sources I mentioned? What is a proto history? Sometimes they would not ask Indus Valley civilization. They would ask what is proto history. They would ask it. So this is the another classification as a UPSC aspirant you should know. One said ancient medieval modern India, other said prehistory, proto-history, proper history. Understood? With this concept only we are going to discuss. So history over, Indian history over, classification of Indian history over. Now which classified Indian history I am going to start? Open the topic modern India. Now you open the topic. Yes. Right here. When hereafter you have to say, okay, if I said medieval, you have to write the year. If I say modern India, you have to write the year. Write the year of modern India, 1707 to 1947. Okay. Whether we are going to study modern India as such? No. Again, I am going to split. Actually, I am splitting it. And I am putting the ground very strong base. Then only I am going to build the building. Understood? Okay. So you split the modern India part into two. Split it, modern India into two. Part 1, part 2. Part 1, part 2. Okay, what is the part 1? 1707 to 1857. Part 2, 1857 to 1947. Part 1 and part 2, 1857 to 1947. Take it. Here 5 to 6 class. Here 5 to 6 class. History, modern India is for 12 class, 13 class. Complete. So keep it in modern India is for both prelims as well as mains. That's why fact will be very less. More analytical would be there in the case. Because nowadays they are not at all asking the factual information. And fact wise you will study. Fact is like the twinkle twinkle little star. If you study twice or thrice, very easy. Concept wise is difficult because it would take time to understand. So part 1 and part 2. First what we are going to discuss? First 6 classes we will discuss part 1. One part 1 is over, then part 2. Okay. Part 1 I said, sir, I split like this. Whether we are going to study as such? No. Again, I am going to split it. What are all the various units in part 1? What are all the various units in part 2? That's why I said first class is the ever best class. That to my class, I would say. The first day itself, I will give the range. Tomorrow onwards, we will study each topic. Even sometimes, if you missed 1 or 2 class, tomorrow onwards, you could easily manage it. But today, if you missed it, it's difficult. Very, very difficult. Okay. So with this, I'm going to discuss of what are all the topics. First, we will discuss. Then we will screw it. Right. We will tight it. Each topic elaborator we will discuss. Okay. So 1707 opening. What is the 1707 is death of Aurangzeb. It is related to Mughal Samraj, I said. But some people answered of 1498. I think when modern India topic opened, some people answered 1498. In that only one topic is exceptional. Apart from that, all of the topics are after the death of Aurangzeb. What is the first unit? Write it, unit 1. First I will enumerate the unit, then we will discuss. Okay, unit 2, 3. What is the unit number 1 is coming of Europeans. Note it down. Coming of Europeans. Yes, who is the first European? Vasco da Gama. From Portuguese, don't write it, okay? From Portuguese. Which year? 1498. That alone you write it. 1498. Actually, this unit alone is the odd man out. Actually, this is a typical medieval India. But for my convenience and as per the syllabus, this alone I kept it in the first unit, that too in modern India. So except the first unit, all other unit are coming after the death of the great ruler Aurangzeb. Keep it in mind. This is very, very important, except the first unit. Okay, second unit, write it. What is the second unit? Sir, what to study in coming of European? I will discuss. What is the second unit is later Mughals. Note it down. I never use the word Mughals, rather than I use the word later Mughals. Okay, Sir said some later Mughal. Okay, it means that some early Mughals, some people were there. When the unit come, next week I will discuss. Definitely I will discuss of this. Okay, later Mughals. Third unit. Unit number 3. Some important regional kingdoms. Note it down. Yes. Some important regional kingdom. 5 minutes break time. Right, then we will start. Exactly 5 minutes break. In between there, you come back. Okay. Yes, very sorry for the inconvenience. Today, complete network problem here. We couldn't foresight of this. So another 1 hour is there. It's difficult and it's not good to continue this because many students already felt inconvenience of receiving both video as well as the audio. So we'll do one thing. Even though another 1 hour class is there, we will continue on tomorrow of this because better. Right? If some people couldn't get, means recorded video would come after 1.5 hour, would be sent to you. Okay, as quick as possible we will send it. Right, you go through that recorded video. Right, so tomorrow we shall continue because complete network failure and half-hearted problem is there, but it's not good to continue it. So with this, today class is over. Tomorrow exactly 11 o'clock, whatever first 2 units I mentioned that, third, fourth I will continue it. Then we will discuss with the first unit elaborately. Okay, sorry for inconvenience. With this, today class is over. Thank you.